Meyers Lake Park. For decades, capturing the hearts of young and old alike, has faded into time. All that remains today are a few tattered remnants and memories whispering through the trees. Weeds have claimed the grounds where flowers once bloomed. Silence replaces the laughter and screams of children at play. Tickets lying by the wayside remind us of a magical place. A place with whirling carousels, glittering rockets, moonlit nights, and dancing under the stars. The Meyers Lake Carousel survives today at Bushnell Park, Hartford, Connecticut. It has been completely restored and still recalls pleasant memories for Canton area visitors, as well as bringing joy to generations who never knew Meyers Lake Park. The mirrored images of brightly painted horses reflect back to the years when the carousel was the centerpiece of the park. To many, the most vivid memories of the park are from the Sinclair years of the 40s and 50s. With Monkey Island and Bluebeard's Castle, the Sinclairs saw a new concept of the park, quite different from the park that was developed in the trolley years. Meyers Lake Park was taken over by the NOT&L Company in 1902. The traction company added new attractions and rides, such as the Lake Park Theater and the Shoot the Chutes. The park also had two hotels, the North Park Hotel and the Lakeview Hotel, which was built on the eastern shore of Meyers Lake. The Midway, known then as the Graveled Pike, was advertised as no mud, no dust. And rides such as the Whip, the Red Racer, and the Old Mill helped draw huge crowds to the park. On some weekends, the streetcars ran one every 3 minutes from Canton to Meyers Lake, with some of the more daring of the young hanging off the sides of the older open cars. In 1924, the open-air Moonlight Gardens opened for the first time. and by 1926 was roofed over and renamed the Moonlight Ballroom. That same year, the NOT&L company sold its interest in Meyers Lake Park to George Sinclair and his son Carl. After the close of the 1926 season, the Sinclairs spent over $250,000 to remodel and upgrade the park. Additions such as Bluebeard's Castle, a zoo, the Hofbrau House, and the famous Monkey Island helped carry the park through the 30s and 40s. Those were the grim years of Depression and World War. But Meyers Lake survived as a place where weary Ohioans could escape their troubles for a time, where a nickel could buy a few hours of pleasure and forgetfulness. With the end of the war and economic hard times, crowds thronged to Meyers Lake Park. Company picnics were a big draw. Thousands arrived by train and were shuttled by bus to the lake in eager anticipation of games, contests, rides, dancing, and fireworks. In its heyday, Meyers Lake was one of the foremost picnic destinations in all of northeastern Ohio. There were contests and games for kids of all ages. Here's a profitable game where kids could go home feeling their day was a complete success. The Clown Band was a popular picnic attraction. People who felt the urge to dance could really kick up their heels and dance up a storm. Then there were some who didn't have an urge to do anything. Pitching horseshoes was a popular pastime for picnic goers. All kids loved the competition of the races. Those who ran the fastest claimed a prize at the end of each race and carried home a treasured memory. A favorite of most company picnics, tug-of-war, where the loser didn't always have such a soft landing, and humiliation was part of the game. If the races and the games weren't exactly what you had in mind, you could always head for the Midway for an afternoon of fun. One of the things that made Meyers Lake so famous was its magnificent floral gardens. No matter what day of the week, if the kids wanted something to do, you could always pack them in the car and head for the park. Kittyland is where you wanted to start, where youngsters could act out their most secret fantasies. If you wanted to be a jockey, you could ride the horse and cart ride. A future engineer could ride the train. If you really wanted a challenge, test your courage on the coaster. Everyone was licensed to drive on the kiddie cars. No speeding, please. A real thrill was the challenge of teaching your younger brother or sister how to drive on the turnpike. Now, don't let them make any wrong turns. You could be captain of your own ship on the kiddie boats. All seafaring captains loved this ride with its own steering wheel and ringing bell. Want to be a pilot? Climb aboard the Skyfighter. Take aim and shoot the enemy. Young and old alike enjoyed the spectacular view from the top of the Ferris wheel. From here, you could see the entire layout of the park. The Flying Scooters was the one ride in the park you could control. For those who wanted a slower version of a coaster, there was the Bug. The Bug always gave a thrill to everyone. The Whip was surely something you wanted to ride before you enjoyed your picnic lunch. The Caterpillar was the most unique ride at Meyers Lake, with a cover that plunged you into darkness in the middle of the ride. The Tilt-A-Whirl, another ride that was sure to turn your stomach upside down. for a slower pace, you could always try your luck at the games. Even the kids could get involved. The Penny Arcade was where everyone had their choice of challenges. You could get your fortune told, or listen to the Monkey Band. The bandbox, which sat above the change booth, was the centerpiece of the arcade. Miniature golf, a place for the real pro. As beautiful as it was challenging. The miniature golf course was one place in the park where the entire family could participate in the fun. And Dad didn't always win. If you've worked up an appetite, there was always plenty of treats at Meyers Lake Park. The cotton candy was the very best anywhere. And no one could pass up that unforgettable taste of the custard at Meyers Lake. With its hand-carved horses and Wurlitzer 153 band organ, the Carousel was the most fondly remembered ride at the park. Made by Stein & Goldstein in 1914, the Carousel came to Meyers Lake in 1940. The earlier Carousel was destroyed by fire in 1939, along with the roller rink and the old zoo barn. If you were a teenager and wanted a few moments alone with your date, the laugh in the dark was where you could steal a smooch. On the Cuddle Up, you could do just that. Cuddle up tight. If you were too young for a girlfriend, then you were old enough to drive the bumper cars. Thousands of northeastern Ohioans actually learned to drive on these unique auto scooters. Ah, the Comet, the biggest and fastest ride in the park. It could give you a thrill that nothing could surpass. The clanking of the Comet as your family approached the park always heightened the anticipation of a fun-filled day at the park. Take your seat and hold on tight, because here we go. If the coaster was a bit too much, there were always other types of entertainment at the park. Many people enjoyed watching the aerial act. On occasion, variety shows were held at the Moonlight Gardens. For an entire tour of the lake and its beautiful surroundings, the launch, called the June Ann, was a must. Across the way, the glittering rockets beckoned you to a high ride above the trees and over the lake. and with every revolution, making memories never to be forgotten. In the hot afternoon, a quick dip in the lake was always a pleasant change from the hustle and bustle of the park. As sunset falls over the lake, we hear the soft music of Charlie Pickens drifting through the breeze.
The band had to be danceable, and it had to be danceable in the owner's eyes. We had a good time, I think, while we were there, and the work was consistent. The crowds that you played to were generally the same people, week after week after week. Well, the band had typical instrumentation. I think 3 trumpets, 1 trombone. Sometimes we had guys who would double on trombone, and we had as many as 4 trombones at one time. I tried to keep 5 saxophones, occasionally using the Miller sound for some things.
I think that we had in Moonlight Gardens the most beautiful outdoor dance pavilion you could probably find in the country. I can't tell you how many thousands of flowers were planted along the walkway going into the dance area. People came from long ways just to go out to the gardens. And that was really gorgeous because there you were overlooking the lake and you had the skies and the stars. Just a beautiful, beautiful facility.
When we were playing outside and were forced to go inside and had to carry all that equipment back into the ballroom. Fortunately, it didn't happen too often, but once was enough, you know.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WHBC's Dance Time from the Moonlight Ballroom at Meyers Lake Park in Canton, Ohio. This is John Chick welcoming you to 30 minutes of danceable stylings with Dom Clevey and the orchestra. They'll be providing the music for the next 30 minutes, and we hope you'll join us on the radio because everyone here at the ballroom's having a fine time. So it's Dance Time with Dom Clevey.
I think it was a step above your average musician from the standpoint that these people had to be able to play a show right on a given spot. Just rehearse for an hour or 2, and away they went, and then they'd have to play the dance music afterwards. So the caliber was, like I say, a little bit above average to begin with because the job was always done. And also would like to give credit to Carl Sinclair, the owner, because I remember he'd hear a tune and he'd come to me and say, Don, he'd hum it and he'd say, I heard this someplace, can you do this for me? And in a week or 2, the band would perform it and he'd just stand there. He'd stand at the side of the bandstand, tapping his foot and clapping his hand, as if to say, that's my band playing a song, you know? One of the best times at the ballroom was at Christmas time, when they'd have the tree up. And the way they used to get these trees would be someone would drive around the neighborhood, a couple of the employees, and if they spotted a nice large fir tree or blue spruce that they wanted, they'd try to either purchase it or maybe sometime the person would say, well, you're welcome to have it. Now the ballroom was about 3 or 4 stories high, and the tree was, I would say, 25 to 30 feet high. Gorgeous trees. Now they would cut the tree down, bring it into the ballroom one day. I'd say it would take them about 2 days to trim this tree. We're talking 300, 400 to 500 bulbs. And then they'd run a wire with Rudolph and the reindeers off of the Christmas tree and all these beautiful lights. It was gorgeous at a Christmas dance. And it was something really, really nice to see.
There weren't too many places that compare with our ballroom here in Canton, because like I talked to many of the musicians when they used to travel through Canton. You guys wanted to have one of the finest, especially the outdoor ballrooms in the country, and I think they said it was up to the 3 or 4 best in the country, and I had to agree with them. But we used to play some barns on the road with the Miller Band, really, 2x4s. But the ballroom here in Canton was one of the best, and the open-air gardens.
I started with Charlie before he ended up, and was with him a few years, and then when Dom took over the band, I went on with him. I had a lot of good years at the ballroom. I think much of our generation grew up at the ballroom. Everything of any importance, including, as I mentioned, proms and dances, and all the major functions around Canton were all held at the ballroom. And the band was an integral part of many of these. A lot of good memories out there. I guess when you're born and raised on music, the pinnacle in Canton at that time was to be on the band at the ballroom. Plus the fact all the major bands in the country coming in just about every week, and that was an attraction for this entire part of the state.
The Lakeshore Restaurant, which opened in the summer, I think it was August of 1961, in connection with dancing in Moonlight Ballroom. Anyone that had dinner at the Lakeshore at that time had free passes into the dance. And this was a wonderful promotion from Carlson and George Sinclair, I thought.
A couple of familiar faces around the park were George Shaheen, who was instrumental in opening the Lakeshore, and Harry Shirk, who oversaw the games. While strolling the Midway, you might catch a glimpse of Carl Sinclair walking his dog. In the 60s, the Calypso became the most popular ride in the park. George Sinclair bought the Calypso in Germany for $47,000 and shipped it to Meyers Lake in 1961 at an additional cost of $11,000. A newly invented ride, it was the first Calypso brought to Ohio and the last major ride brought to Meyers Lake Park. The Scrambler later replaced the Calypso, but paled in comparison. Gone were the bright colored lights and loud music, but the same thrill still remained. The Twist, also known as the Swingin' Jim, was added to the park in later years and was popular with the younger set. Better have good rhythm for this ride, or you didn't go anywhere. In the 50s and 60s, water ski shows were big attractions at the park. They drew crowds of over 100,000 people. The Meyers Lake Water Ski Club held seasonal shows, usually on Sunday afternoons, to the delight of onlookers who thrilled to the jumping and trick acrobatic displays. Among the more prominent skiers at the lake was Hugh O'Brien. Throughout the 60s, the company picnics diminished, and park attendance showed a steady decline. As industrial picnics vanished, so too did the fortunes of Meyers Lake Park.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing
I'll be seeing you. Little did we know that these words would become so true. How little we treasure what we have until we have it no more. What great times we had at Meyers Lake Park. Memories that would last a lifetime.